Hello, my friend. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you were called to do something, to do a thing, something new, and it required a new version of you? And in the middle of doing this, you feel the pull of resistance. You feel the struggle. Maybe you don't feel capable, qualified, or ready yet. And you know that you're being called to do this thing. Listen, if that's you, this episode is going to give you some practical tips and strategies to help you have more clarity, to have more confidence, and also to get yourself in action. Alrighty, my friend, welcome to the brand new, rebranded, reinvented, Worthy Woman podcast. I am your host, Amy Ramsey. I am so excited. If you've been following along, this is the first episode with this new name and new title. So a little bit about who I am and what we're doing here, what I'm doing here. It is my heart, it is my soul, it is my mission to help you walk worthy of your calling. And on this podcast, we're going to talk life and leadership strategies, scripture, and we keep this a biblical worldview. We take a Bible-based, science-backed approach to help you move forward in your real life. I am a certified high-performance coach, all sorts of other coaches and life coach and all this other stuff, but it is my passion to help you understand how to hardwire high-performance habits. Because let me tell you, sis, that's going to change your life. Talk about needle mover, moving your life forward, going further, faster. And it all starts with who you are. I want you in alignment so you understand who you are and whose you are. I want you activated in the things that God's asking you to do. Because let me tell you something, sis, you have a ripple to leave in this world that only you can leave. I'm a big believer that we're headed near the end of times, and the workers are few and the harvest is ripe. And here's the deal. More women who are rising and they see themselves as needed and necessary, they're stepping into their calling, the more impact we're going to be able to leave and we're going to be able to make together. And so I'm here to support you and to give you systems and strategies to help you level up, because you on your A game is who I'm here to support. So in this podcast, the Worthy Woman podcast, you will find systems and strategies that help you level up, help you maybe even, I like to think of it like this, like access that part of you that you know is there, you know is inside of you. It's that potential, that untapped potential. So you can move forward in purpose and in power. Okay. So real quick announcement. I have been behind the scenes working on this rebranding of my brand. So you may notice that the cover is different to the podcast. And if you'll look on any of my social media or any of like my website, I am in this big, fat, messy middle. And something kind of funny happened. I've been talking about the planner that I'm writing, and it's coming out soon-ish. I'm over trying to guess when that thing is going to be ready and releasing into the world. But because I was submitting my final manuscript for that, I had to go in and update all my contact information. And I've been wanting to rebrand this podcast for some time. And as I was submitting it, I was looking at the Fit Soul podcast, which I love. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that here in just a moment, which I love. I mean, that's the name of my brand. That's the name of my business. That's actually my trademarked brand is The Fit Soul. I love it. But it was no longer in alignment with where God's moving me. So I had to like really get all of my cross my T's and dot my I's on this final manuscript. And at the last minute, I was looking at it going, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to put this in print. I mean, I've been talking about changing my podcast for 6 months and I was getting to it, but I've got to change this before that planner gets into the world. By the way, that planner is the Worthy Woman Planner. It was renamed because we named the podcast this. Anyway, all that to say, it spurred this messy middle of a rebrand. And I've just been in this for a while, but here's what I want to share with you about just the work that God does in our life. He's always changing. There's one thing that's always certain is that things are going to change. And how we are sensitive to the Spirit and moving forward is important to move forward, to be attuned with the Spirit of God in our lives, because He's speaking. He's calling us forward. He's calling us forward. So I want to just share with you a little bit. I'm going to share with you today 5 steps that will help you in your own life as God's calling you forward. And before we dive in, I really want to speak directly to you today. I want you to know to honor God with your life. I want you to live your life with clarity and purpose. And right now, you might be feeling stuck between who you have been and who you're called to become. And I'm telling you that resistance is real. And the unclarity, is unclarity a word? I don't believe unclarity is a word. I'm trying to think of a real quick word to replace it with, but you feel unsure. How about that? Let me just choose that one. And you have maybe a desire to rise, but because you don't have clarity, it's hard to move forward. And then can we just talk about the wrestling with self-doubt and the fear of, oh my gosh, if I move forward and I don't know what to do and I get it wrong. And the pressure of trying to do everything perfectly. And all of this is like inside of your soul. It is not comfortable. You feel that weight of untapped potential, but also the frustration of maybe not knowing how to move forward. You want that momentum. You want that direction. You want activation. I can tell you this episode is 100% for you, because here's what I know that I know that I know. I want you to know that God is for you and He is expanding you and preparing you for more. I want you to feel grounded and strengthened and encouraged in your calling. And I want you to see yourself as God sees you, and that you are capable of taking the next steps, even if it feels messy, because I promise you it will. I want you fully aligned with who you are and whose you are, because your identity is everything. And here's the thing. I want you to understand how to lead yourself well in an upgraded season. In where God's calling you higher, I want you to understand how to step into that with clarity and courage. And I want you to take a step forward today, not someday. Tomorrow is never. So if you've been asking God for direction, for confirmation, for activation, girlfriend, this episode is for you. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about my messy story, but I want to share with you kind of a funny story that just happened. In fact, I just got back in town just yesterday from the time of this recording. I had a unplanned emergency trip that I needed to make. And I'm not trying to brag on myself too much here, but I just had to pick up and go. And I want you to know that we can do hard things. I actually packed a suitcase, and I only had one pair of shoes. The pair of shoes that I wore on that trip was the only pair of shoes I had. Now, you might be thinking, well, duh, I do that all the time. Well, I just want you to know that's big growth for this girl over here, because I typically take 6 to 7 pair of shoes. It's just a thing. I'm trying to improve in this, but I didn't have time to overthink. I just threw some clothes in my bag and a pair of neutral, comfortable, but fashionable tennis shoes. I even walked on the treadmill with them. I digress. Okay. So threw my stuff in a suitcase. I had to head out of town. Now, when I tell you that I didn't know what was around the corner, I just had to go and I had to go do something. I had to go help my people. And I bought a one-way ticket because I didn't know when I was returning. I didn't even know where I was going to stay. I didn't even have a rental car. I mean, I arrived to the destination going, oh crap, I need to get a rental car. All right. So finally, it's time for me to head back home, and I'm trying to get my plane ticket, use my points to do it. It wasn't working out online. So I called American Airlines, and I had this moment, but let me tell you about this moment, this story. I wish I had enough time to tell you the whole story because, oh my gosh, it was one of these things. But when I was asking the lady she and I just had a moment. I'm just telling you, we had a moment. We're both believers and we were both shouting hallelujah. But when I was telling her, okay, I need to fly home. I want to go out on this flight. And do I have enough points? She goes, girl, you have got more than enough points. I figured I did. I have a nice, good status with this airline. And I use all of my credit card. I use all of the points for just traveling. Right. And so then I asked her, I said, do I have enough points to get a first class ticket? And she said, girl, yes, you do. I said, well, let's upgrade, baby, because I am worthy of that. I said those exact words. And here's what she said. And here's, lean in just a little bit with me here. She said, what you just said, you are worthy of that. That one word, worthy, triggered the most beautiful conversation that I had with this woman. I don't want to say her name, but because she was at work. I could hear people behind her. But we ended up, I'm like, you're a sister in Christ. She goes, oh yes, I am. And we have the same brother. We are co-heirs with Jesus. Like, it was such an awesome phone call. It was just so uplifting, but inspirational. And that's what happens when you are in the body of Christ. And like an unexpected, wonderful phone call, just booking my doggone flight ticket. Anyway, it was that word worthy. Worthy it evokes a certain emotion. It carries weight. It identifies like so much. The word worthy itself is noble. It is part of the reason why I have named this the Worthy Woman Podcast, and I do the Worthy Woman Summit. Because when we as daughters of the King understand our inherent worth, our inherent value, everything changes. Everything. And so this podcast is meant to do just that for you. And I long to see you walking worthy of that calling that is inside of you. All right, real quickly, I want to share with you that as we're rounding out this year, 2025, hello, where did it go? I do want you activated and moving forward with clarity and confidence in 2026 and actually building momentum. And let me tell you, I've got something that I'm going to do for the first time ever. It's coming up in December, but it's the Worthy Woman Activation Intensive. It is the first time I'm doing this. I'm going to host a 3-hour live workshop where you will get everything in this intensive. I'm going to walk you through the exact frameworks from my Worthy Woman High Performance Planner. You will create the strategy and the roadmap that you need for 2026, a 90-day plan that will actually unbelievably give you clarity and move you forward. It will elevate your mindset. And I'm going to share with you a powerful tool that will literally, girl, it will change your life. It will change the way you lead yourself. It will change the way that you're actually able to get into action and emotionally regulate yourself so you don't default to old patterns. It's so powerful. You'll actually be able to get momentum. So if you're tired of feeling distracted or pulled in all of the directions and really not making that traction, really like kind of moving forward, but a few steps backwards, but ultimately, at the end of the year, you're not really seeing that progress that you're wanting to see. I want to help you access the next level of you. And this is where your preparation begins. So run and grab a seat to this Worthy Woman activation. You can go to amyramsey.com/activation. You're going to want to absolutely grab your spot there. Okay, so I want to share with you I want to give you 5 things that will help you recognize but move forward in the middle of your own transition. In the middle of, maybe it's a disruption for you. Maybe you were like me. I'm still in the messy middle. In fact, if you'll even hear, I just decided to record this podcast. I really don't have the outro ready. I mean, there's a couple of key components that are kind of important for a podcast. I'm like, and I don't have time to worry about that. I'm just a huge believer in let's go. So here's the thing. Here's a couple of things that I want to share with you. Number 1, you have to recognize identity expansion. Before God upgrades your life, He upgrades your identity. And your identity is who you already are. It's the most powerful shift and change you can make. It's so scriptural, it's so biblical, but if you study any type of behavioral change, there's behavior modification, and then there's identity transformation. And so when you focus on transforming and becoming who God already says that you are, you'll think differently. You will live differently. You'll feel that pull to rise, but also you will just have this, it's a different place of activation. Even if nothing on the outside has changed, you've changed on the inside. Because of my past experience with abuse, domestic violence and abuse, and with also just some of the things that I've been through, I tend to have different ones come and go in my life that need that help as well. They've been through that major trauma and they have to understand, how do they walk out and move out of that in a healthy way? And I just have learned, there's often times, and I want to share this with you, that our compass doesn't point north with our identity. When you feel less than, when you feel like you're hiding or shrinking, or that fear taking over, that is a pull right there that you fight for your identity. You contend for who God says that you already are. God's calling you higher, and His ways are the best ways. Jesus says, I came to give you life and life to the full, but the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. The enemy of your soul does not want you moving forward in that next level of you. Real quickly, I want to share with you a story. In fact, I have a mentorship called Walk Worthy Mentorship, and we had our coaching call today. I meet with them twice a month. We had our coaching call today, and Melissa Belt is a client. She's an OG in there at this point. She's been in for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. I honestly don't even know. But when I first met with her on a discovery call, she was interested in some change in her life. And we were actually on a phone call, and she just said, no, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. She was in a transition and a disruption of life, and she had a loss of identity. She was struggling. And then she also wanted to get healthier. She wanted to lose some weight, about 30 pounds or so. And we got to talking, and I was like, you don't understand your identity. She didn't even feel worthy enough to make an investment and hire a coach to help her in her journey. So we talked about it for a little bit, and she messaged me back right away. She goes, I talked to my husband. Oh my gosh, I am so in. Anyway, the first thing that we started to do was to work on her identity, because that is the basis of everything. It's that thinking and believing bigger with God. It's rooting in identity and truth, right? Anyway, I want you to know, fast forward a year and some change, she's lost all 30 pounds healthy and naturally by building healthy habits, but everything has changed because her identity has changed. She knows who she is. She understands that she is needed and necessary. She understands that she is created for purpose. And so now it has changed everything about the trajectory of her life, because she is moving forward activated. And that is exactly what happens when you start to understand who you are and whose you are. So number one is recognize there's an identity expansion going on. All right. Real quickly, I want to speak straight to you if you know you're called for more. I want to speak directly to maybe you're like Melissa and you're struggling with your identity. Or maybe you just want to steward your time better and you want to walk worthy of that calling. You want to leave that impact that you're called to make. If that is pulling you, this is exactly why I created this Worthy Woman Activation Intensive, because so many women go into a new year, they're unclear, they're overwhelmed, and they're unsure of how to even bring like a vision and much less goals to life. And I don't want that to be your story in 2026. So in this powerful live workshop, I'm going to teach you core pieces from my true framework. This is think and believe bigger with God, root in identity and truth, unleash the plan, and execute and evaluate. I'm going to teach you exactly this framework, and it's inside of my new Worthy Woman High Performance Planner. You will learn the mindset you need to access your next level, to give you that clarity, to build momentum, and a simple plan, an action plan that will help you stop starting over. This is not hype. It's not motivation, which I will motivate you and I'll inspire you and all the things, but it's not a hype up meeting. And let me tell you what it definitely is. It's not a vision board night. Like, yeah, go make you a vision board if you want to, but that's not what we're going to be doing in this intensive. It's real preparation for the woman that you're becoming. So if this is something that you're like, I need that clarity, I need that roadmap for success. I do want my 2026 to look differently. And for all the reasons I'm not able to figure that out, or I'm not moving the needle forward enough in my life, I'm going to tell you these 3 hours will change the way you step into 2026. Go straight to amyramsey.com/activation. Grab that seat. There's a very special price on it. Go grab it right now. You're not going to want to miss that. amyramsey.com/activation, or you can check the show notes. All right. Number two, decide with clarity and not comfort. Your comfort is going to keep you stuck. Your stuck self does not want you stepping forward. It wants you to stay the same. And so elevation is always going to require a decision, and you have to decide to move forward, and it's not going to be convenient. But clarity comes, the more clear you are, it creates that easier path, and you move forward with conviction. You cannot negotiate with your next level and win. At some point, you have to say yes, even if you're not ready. So I want you to think about this. Maybe what decision have you been delaying that you know you're ready to make? All right, we're moving on. Number 3, take messy action. Oh my gosh, I think I am the queen of messy action. Listen, this is where the rubber meets the road, where the real gets real. You don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait for confidence. Don't wait for every detail to fall in front of you. That is not the way that it happens. Movement creates clarity, and messy action will keep you in progress mode. Oftentimes it's that perfectionism that's in us, that it's got to look like this and I have to do it like this. And listen, you're just not going to know. So this is where you share that place where you're like, okay, I'm just going to go share it with somebody. Go tell them. All right. So let me ask you right now, what imperfect step can you take that will move you toward your next level? In fact, I write that down every single day when I'm writing down you'll see it in the planner whenever it comes out, is what is one small or bold move I can take towards my goals. Every single day I ask myself, and I take whether it's a big step or a little step, I take a step moving forward. All right. Number 4, build capacity through structure and support. Now, I want to tell you that as I was thinking about renaming this podcast, if I'm being honest with you, one of the reasons why I hadn't done it quicker is that Walk Worthy would have been my first choice for this, but Walk Worthy was already taken. So I couldn't do that. And finding the right name for a podcast is kind of a big deal. So I shared with you at the top of the episode that I had to make a decision very, very quick, and I couldn't overthink it. And I also know the power of making sure I've got the right support in place. Renaming, rebranding a podcast is kind of a big deal. You want to get it right. There's all sorts of stuff that I didn't even know was important, but it is. Search engine optimization and making sure you've got the right, brand congruency. Anyway, it all worked out. I was able to hire a podcast coach, Jen Rogers, shout out to her, who hopped on a phone call with me. We met, we're in a Kelly Roach's, one of her mentorships. We both love Kelly, and we speak the same language. Anyway, through Facebook DMs, she's like, I can help you. I'm like, I kind of need it now. She hopped on a phone call with me. I was actually at the hair salon and getting my hair colored. And I'm like, oh, my hair's processing. I've got a few minutes right now. So literally we hopped on the call. She was looking through all of my stuff as quickly as she could to kind of, I guess, do a deep dive on my brand. And she's like, why aren't you naming this the Worthy Woman Podcast? I'm like, I don't know. That's the perfect name for it. But anyway, back to this point number 4 is get structure and support. Identify the places that, hey, I need some help here. I'm a coach that gets a coach. I'm a coach. Here I am, a coach right here saying, this is exactly the work that I do, is that I help build new systems, strengthen identities, help you to shorten the learning curve, and stay accountable to what God's calling you to do. I had a coaching call with a brand new client today. Actually, we had our very first coaching call. And it was so funny because she's right in the middle of trying to figure out her brand and what to do with it. And I'm like, oh, I made this mistake and this mistake. Let me tell you what to do here. So oftentimes it's just your coach has gone before you and they've been trained and skilled to help you shorten that learning curve, to help you. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I will help you save money. I will tell you where I spent money and it was unnecessary, especially with my clients that are looking for a new brand when they're starting a new business brand. Okay, so think about this. What structure or support would help you operate at a higher level? Where do you need accountability? Where do you need to, kind of think about it like this, skill up. Where do I need to skill up and do I need support to do that? So build new capacity through support and structure. And the last is to activate your calling with courage. It is going to require courage. Every single day is going to require courage. And this is one of the faith-fueled high-performance habits. And the more I have leaned into, 1 year, this was my goal. Every day I was like, okay, I'm going to do something courageous today. And something courageous for me, like it's little bitty things, like make a phone call that I didn't feel like making. Honestly, when I really leaned into courage, it was when I started to actually break the deeper levels of people pleasing that I didn't even know were still there. Like I thought I had done all of this work, so I wasn't nearly the people pleaser that I was. But when I really started to lean into this, I realized, oh, wow, I still like to be a chameleon. I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't know if you can relate to that. But Mark 22 says, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins. Both the wine and the skins will be ruined. Instead, new wine is poured into new wineskins. All right. So that just thinking about that, God is pulling you and stretching you. And the person that you are now is going to require courage to be the woman that God is calling you to become. All right. So that's just a whole thing. And it's just a process. And the more you lean into that, to being strong and to being courageous, I promise you it will change your life. So courage is choosing to step into new identity, even when your clarity is not there. It's not complete. Maybe the step ahead is. Courage is going to require obedience. And that's what I love about working with high performance, high capacity kingdom women, is that when I hear them say, I didn't know what to do. God called me to do it, so I obeyed. No, it's this beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So let me ask you this. Where is God asking you to rise, to release, and to recommit so he can take you where he wants you to go. So let me recap these as we're going to land this plane, wrapping this baby up. Number 1 is recognize the identity expansion. Okay. Number 2 is decide with clarity, not comfort. Number 3, take messy action. Number 4, build new capacity through structure and support. And number 5 is activate your calling with courage. So as we wrap up this podcast today, this brand new, I'm getting a little teary-eyed just even thinking about it, because it's a big deal to get this rebrand, continue to move forward in it. I want to remind you of the mission behind all of this. It's Ephesians 4:1, and it says, walk worthy of the calling for which you have been called. That's the heartbeat of this podcast. That's the heartbeat of my coaching program. That's the heartbeat of the summit, of the planner, of everything. That you, my friend, would rise into the identity that God's placed inside of you, and that you would honor the assignments that he's placing that only you can complete. He's entrusted this with you, and he wants you to live as he's created you to be, fully alive, thriving life. Girl, you are necessary. You are needed. And your life, it carries such a ripple effect that only you can release. And so my prayer is that in every episode, you are able to move forward with more clarity, with more courage, with more confidence in who you are and whose you are. I want you equipped to lead, to grow, and to walk worthy in every part of your life. So if this episode encouraged you, inspired you, or gave you something practical to work with, I would love for you to subscribe to the show, leave a rating and a review, because that helps more women step into this community and discover their calling as well. And sharing this episode with a friend or a family member can help that person. And you know what? It helps me as well. It helps this podcast go to more people. So thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for you. I truly am. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I know there's a lot of podcasts that you can listen to. You choose this one. I want you to know that I am cheering you on. I am the biggest champion for women. I just want to honor you for being here. And I believe in the woman that you're becoming. And I will see you next week on the Worthy Woman podcast. Bye-bye.